In a small county jail, two officers processed a black woman arrested on a minor charge, their laughter echoing as they shaved her head, claiming it was standard procedure. They didn't know the woman was Judge Amara Johnson, the very judge set to preside over their misconduct case the next day. Her calm demeanor during the humiliating ordeal hid a truth that would soon turn their world upside down, leaving the entire precinct in stunned silence when her identity was revealed in court. Amara Johnson, 42, was a respected circuit court judge known for her sharp legal mind and unwavering commitment to justice. She'd risen through the ranks in a legal system where black women were often overlooked, earning her position through years of hard work and quiet resilience. That evening, she'd been driving through a rural part of the county after visiting a community outreach program. A broken taillight led to a routine traffic stop by Officers Daniel Hayes and Michael Reed, two patrolmen with a history of complaints. What should have been a quick interaction spiraled into chaos when Hayes claimed Amara's license seemed suspicious. Despite her calm explanation and presentation of valid identification, the officers, skeptical and confrontational, arrested her for obstructing an officer after she questioned their reasoning. At the county jail, the situation escalated. Amara, dressed casually in jeans and a sweater, didn't look like the stereotypical image of a judge. The officers, unaware of her identity, treated her like any other detainee. During processing, Hayes made a snide comment about her braided hairstyle, saying it could hide contraband. Reed, following protocol for high-risk detainees, a category Amara clearly didn't fit, ordered her hair shaved. Amara protested, citing her rights and a lack of justification. But the officers dismissed her, laughing as they brought out the clippers. "Rules are rules," Hayes said, smirking. Amara sat silently, her jaw tight, as the clippers buzzed, removing her braids. She didn't argue further, but her eyes burned with quiet intensity that went unnoticed. The officers had no idea who they were dealing with. Amara's name was on the docket for the next morning's hearing, where she was set to preside over a case involving Hayes and Reed themselves. The two had been accused of excessive force in a separate incident, and their case had drawn local attention due to a pattern of complaints against them. Amara, known for her meticulous preparation, had reviewed their files thoroughly. She'd seen the reports, multiple allegations of misconduct, racial profiling, and abuse of power. She'd planned to approach the case with her usual fairness, but the night's events added a personal layer she hadn't anticipated. After the humiliating processing, Amara was placed in a holding cell. She didn't mention her position as a judge, knowing it might complicate things further. Instead, she used her one phone call to contact her attorney, Lisa Carter, a longtime friend and colleague. Lisa was furious when she heard what happened, but agreed to keep Amara's identity under wraps until the hearing. "They'll find out soon enough," Amara said, her voice steady despite the ordeal. She spent the night in the cell, her mind racing but her resolve unshaken. She'd been through too much in her career, microaggressions, outright prejudice, to let this break her. The next morning, Hayes and Reed arrived at the courthouse, confident and joking with colleagues. They'd been through hearings before, always escaping with minimal consequences. Their attorney, a seasoned public defender named Paul Grayson, had prepped them to downplay the excessive force allegations, framing them as routine policing in a tough neighborhood. Neither officer suspected the woman they'd arrested the previous night would be waiting for them in the courtroom, gavel in hand. Amara, released early that morning after Lisa's intervention, walked into the courthouse with her head held high. Her hair, now closely cropped, was a stark reminder of the previous night. But she carried herself with the same authority she always did. She'd chosen a simple black robe, her judicial badge pinned prominently. The bailiff, a veteran named Tom who knew her well, greeted her with a nod, unaware of the night's events. Amara took her place on the bench, her expression unreadable as she reviewed the docket. The courtroom filled with spectators, including local reporters covering the officer's case. Hayes and Reed sat at the defense table, chatting casually with Grayson. When Amara entered and the bailiff called the court to order, the officers barely glanced up, expecting another routine hearing. The bailiff announced the case, the matter of Hayes and Reed, charges of excessive force. Amara's voice cut through the room, calm but commanding. "Good morning," She said, "Let's begin." It was only when she called the officers' names that Hayes looked up, his eyes narrowing. Something about her voice seemed familiar, but he couldn't place it. Reed, less observant, was still flipping through his notes. Amara proceeded with the hearing, her tone professional as she outlined the charges. She questioned Grayson about the evidence, her questions sharp and precise, revealing her deep knowledge of the case. The officers began to shift uncomfortably, sensing the hearing wasn't going their way. Then came the moment that changed everything. Amara paused, setting down her notes. "Before we proceed," she said, "I need to address a matter of personal relevance." The room went quiet, all eyes on her. "Last night, I was arrested by Officers Hayes and Reed on a minor traffic violation. During processing, they shaved my head without cause despite my protests." She let the words hang in the air, her gaze steady. "I am Judge Amar Johnson, presiding over this case, and I want the record to reflect what happened." The courtroom froze. Hayes' face drained of color, his mouth slightly open. Reed stared at the floor, his hands gripping the table. Grayson, caught off guard, stammered, "Your Honor, we had no idea." The spectators whispered, reporters scribbling furiously. Amara raised a hand, silencing the room. "I'm not here to discuss my experience," she said. "I'm here to ensure justice is served. But I will not recuse myself. I can remain impartial, and this case will proceed based on the evidence." Grayson, recovering, requested a recess to confer with his clients. Amara granted it, her expression unchanging. In the hallway, Hayes and Reed were in a panic. "How could we not know?" Reed muttered, his voice shaking. Hayes, more defiant, snapped, "She didn't say anything. How were we supposed to know?" Grayson, realizing the gravity of the situation, urged him to stay calm. "She says she can be impartial," he said, "but this doesn't look good for you.